to it. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on one of the smartest parts of SAP purchasing, message determination. Think of it as the brain behind all your automated communications, the secret sauce that makes sure your business documents just end up in the right place at the right time. So you've probably done this 1,000 times, right? You create a purchase order, you hit save, and boom, a few moments later, your supplier gets a perfectly formatted PDF in their email. But have you ever stopped to think about how that actually happens? How does SAP know what to send, who to send it to, and how to send it? Well, that's the exact mystery we're solving today. And here's how we're going to do it. First, we'll cover the mission. What exactly is message determination? Then we'll open up the toolkit and look at the 4 key pieces that make it all work. After that, we'll walk through a real step-by-step example. We'll even see how to fine-tune the process. And then we'll wrap it all up with the key takeaways you need to know. Sound good? Let's kick things off with the mission. Okay, section 1. Before we can start tinkering with the engine, we need to know what it's designed to do. So, what is the mission here? In a nutshell, message determination is SAP's built-in decision maker for sending stuff out. For any document you create, it automatically answers those 3 big questions. How are we sending this thing? Is it a printout, an email, or maybe an EDI transmission? When are we sending it? Right now, or maybe later tonight with a bunch of others? And of course, who gets it? Does it go to the main vendor contact, or maybe a specific person in their shipping department? It figures all of this out in an instant, all based on rules that we set up beforehand. Now, to really get a grip on this, let's use an analogy for the rest of our chat. I want you to picture a huge, high-tech mail sorting facility inside of SAP. Every single document you create, every PO, every RFQ is like a package arriving at this facility. And message determination, that's the amazing system of scanners and robotic arms that instantly reads the label on your package and sends it down the right chute to the right destination. So if we're going to understand this mail facility, we need to know what it's made of. And it really comes down to 4 key components, the essential parts of our toolkit. First up, we have the biggest piece of the puzzle, the message schema. This is the master blueprint. For each type of business document, like a purchase order, there's one single message schema, and its job is simple. It just lists out every single possible type of communication that a purchase order is even allowed to send. So back in our mail facility, the message schema is like an entire department. You've got the purchasing mail department over in one wing of the building, and maybe the sales order department in another. It's the whole operation dedicated to just one kind of document. Now, inside that department, they handle different kinds of mail. That's where message types come in. A message type defines a very specific kind of output. For purchase orders, the one you'll see all the time is NEU, which stands for a new PO. But you could have others, like one for sending reminders. And here's the crucial part. The message type holds the technical DNA. It tells the system exactly which program to run and which form, like a PDF template, to use. In our mail facility, these are the different services you can choose from. You can send your package via standard letter, which is like a simple printout, or you could choose the urgent telegram service, which is more like an instant electronic message. Each service has its own unique process and equipment. Okay, so how does the system know which service to pick for our package? That's the job of the access sequence. It's basically a search strategy, a step-by-step checklist that tells the system, okay, look for instructions here first. If you don't find anything, look here second, then here's third. It's all about searching in a very specific, prioritized order. Think of the access sequence as the official rulebook for our mail clerk. And the number 1 rule in that book is be as specific as possible first. The rulebook says, first, check if there are special VIP instructions just for this supplier. If not, okay, no problem. Let's be a little more general and just check for instructions for this type of document. It always searches from the most specific rule down to the most general. So the access sequence tells our clerk which filing cabinets to check and in what order. The condition tables are those filing cabinets. Each table, or each cabinet, is organized by a specific combination of fields, like one cabinet for document type and another, more specific one for purchasing org and supplier. That combination of fields is the key. And what's inside the filing cabinets? Well, that's the final piece of our analogy, the condition records. These are the actual index cards with the instructions written on them. So our clerk takes the key from our document, say document type NB, goes to the right filing cabinet, finds the matching index card, and reads the instruction. Ah, Here it is. Send to printer XYZ, send it immediately, just one copy. And that's it. Okay, theory's over. We've met the whole crew: schema, type, sequence, and table. Now, let's see them in action. We're going to follow a real purchase order as it makes its way through our intelligent mail facility. So, here we go. You create a standard purchase order. The very first thing SAP does is look at it and say, okay, this is a PO. That automatically points it to the master blueprint for POs, which is message schema RMBFE1. Then, the system looks inside that schema and runs a quick check on all the possible message types. It sees that this is a brand new document, so it says, yep, message type NEU is the one we need here. Great. The system has identified its message type NEU. Now, it looks inside the configuration for NEU and pulls out its assigned search strategy, which is access sequence 0001. The hunt for the specific instructions is officially on. Our mail clerk has grabbed his rulebook and is heading for the filing cabinets. And here we can see that search happen live. The access sequence says start with access 10, so the system checks for a super specific rule for our exact purchasing org and supplier combo. Nope, nothing there. Okay, on to access 20. It checks for a rule that matches the document type, purchase org, and supplier. Still no luck. All right, let's try access 30. It looks for a more general rule based only on our document type, NB. And bingo, we've got a match. The second it finds a match, the search stops. The system doesn't need to look any further. It grabs all the juicy details from that condition record it just found, things like the medium, print, the timing, immediately, the specific printer name, and it copies all of that right into the messages section of our purchase order. The whole process is done automatically in less than a second. Now, that automation is fantastic, but what happens when things aren't so simple? What happens when you need to change a PO after you've already sent it? Let's look at how we can fine-tune this process to handle changes with a bit more grace. So, a lot of the magic here comes down to a single checkbox in the configuration. Let's look at the two scenarios. On the left, if that little indicator is turned off, you're kind of stuck. You have to use the same message type, NEU, for both the original PO and any changes you make later. But check out the right side. If you flip that indicator on, you unlock a whole new world of flexibility. You could set it up so that the original PO gets printed using NEU, but any changes automatically trigger a different message type, let's call it ZAN, that sends an email instead. This gives you completely separate control over how you communicate original documents versus changes. We've gone from the big picture to the nuts and bolts and back again. Let's wrap this up by boiling it all down to the most important points, the things you absolutely have to remember to really master this whole process. Okay, let's make this simple. First, burn this logic flow into your brain. It always goes schema, to type, to sequence, to table. Second, remember that in purchasing, this all happens at the document header. Third, the condition record is the prize at the end of the hunt. It has all the final instructions. Fourth, and this is probably the most useful tip I can give you. If your output ever looks weird, go into the PO and click the determination analysis button. It will show you a log of exactly what the system searched for, step by step. It's a lifesaver for troubleshooting. And finally, don't forget that automation is great, but you're still in control. You can always go into the document and manually add or change a message if you need to. You know, we've been focused entirely on purchase orders today, but this underlying logic, this condition technique, is everywhere in SAP. It's one of the most fundamental concepts. So I want to leave you with a question to think about. Now that you understand this blueprint for automating communications, where else could you use it? Think about sales orders, delivery notes, invoices. The potential is absolutely massive. All right, let's